Hello, my friend, it's the Crypto Lunatic, and today you find me in the Lunar Café, and I'm going to review this little coin in the background called Scale. Now, I asked Grok earlier which low cap crypto coins have an active community on social media at the moment, and this was one of the projects that came out. And since it's fairly mature, I thought I'd look into it. Let's find out what this little coin is. Let's find out if it's any good. Is this a great opportunity, or is it like the chart in the background suggests, a dying duck? So I decided that I would have a little look into it. Now, like most things that I review, until an hour ago, I had no idea what Scale was, what it did. And this is really just an educational resource to show you how to do base level research into crypto coins, because there's so many out there. And in crypto, most of them are going to lose in the long term. So how do we find these little gems? This is really a resource to show you where to begin and nothing else. It is edutainment, my friend. And with that in mind, definitely not financial advice. Join me on a little journey and I shall take you through the phases of what I look at. So we usually start on Coinmarketcap. And here we see a coin that was launched for 12 cents back in 2020, back in December 2020. So this has been out and about for a while. For a while, my friends. And we've seen the price action back in 2021 that this reached the lofty heights of 82 cents. And since then, crash, 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 little up, down, little up, down, 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 tiny little spike here to 4 cents. And then it's just crashed since then. So what does it do? Let's have a look. We will first look at it's got a market cap of 35 million, which makes it fairly low, not quite the Degens zone, but it makes it low enough that that there could be explosive potential if the price goes up, but high enough that this is not an early stage project. Well, we already know that from the price action anyway. We also see that the circulating supply is 6.1 billion. And the total supply, or the maximum, let's go to the maximum supply is 7 billion, which means most of the tokens are now on the market. So the flush out phase has happened. There's not going to be much dilution. But again, when we look at stuff, we'll go back and we'll look at this. We go here, we see it's on Binance and Coinbase. This is a very strong positioning, which means that the two biggest exchanges are holding this token, even though it's a tiny little low cap coin, and a lot of the main ones beyond that as well. So it's a very promising start. We go down, we see most of the unlocks have happened. There's only 10% locked at the moment. So most of the dilution and the price action has happened, hence the big curve here on the scale. Now, this I want to just bring your attention to. So this was launched in 2020. So right back then, we see this very steep vesting schedule. Now look at this, especially here, started at December 2021. There was a big uptrend. So let's go back to the price action. So let's go to December 2021. Where are we? We're around about here. Now look what happens to the price action when the vesting curve starts. Now I want to bring your attention to this because I talk about vesting a lot, but this is like the ghost of Christmas future. This is what happens to price action when vesting starts. You see a lot of promising price action early where speculation's high and everybody's hyping it up. And there's probably loads of influencers talking about the project. And then suddenly the vesting starts, which is round about here. And then bang, a little rally, but then bang, 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 bang. And that is because this price curve here between here and here correlates with between here and here. So you see, there's no coincidence that when the vesting schedule gets punishing, the price suppresses. Now, this is an educational moment for all cryptos when you're looking at vesting schedules and price action. Vesting schedules will kill a coin. They'll kill its price. And this one has been killed by the vesting schedule. But the good news is now that the vesting schedule is largely over. Yes, there's 10%, but most of it's been flushed out now. Most of it. That's almost a plateau, going right through to 2040. So we've seen the worst of the vesting price action suppression happen. We look here, we see that the top 10 wallets have 37%. Now, that's not too bad. We've seen much worse in crypto. And we see that there's 30,000 holders. So there is an active community holding this. Now, this is where we look into Scale is a blockchain network designed to power decentralized applications, or dApps, with zero gas fees, high performance, and limitless scalability. Scale operates as a network of EVM compatible interconnected layer one blockchains referred to as scale chains. These individual chains can be specific. I'm not even going to read any more of this. This is crypto babble. So EVM, it means apps that are compatible on the Ethereum blockchain. And it just means that they're designed to seamlessly interact with Ethereum. So with stuff like this, I've asked it to simplify it. So here's something that I did. Give us a simple prompt on Perplexity for somebody that knows nothing about crypto or blockchain. Let's summarize Scale simply for beginners. So imagine the main blockchain like Ethereum is a massive single lane highway because everyone in the world is trying to use it at the same time. It's constantly jammed, and the tolls or the fees to get on are incredibly expensive. And Ethereum does have expensive fees. There's no question of that. They've got better over time, but it's notoriously expensive to interact with. So Scale is like building a network of private high-speed lanes right next to that highway. The private lane, instead of every app sharing one road, Scale gives each application its own dedicated lane. That this means they never have to sit in traffic or wait for other people. No tolls to you. In the crypto world, users usually have to pay a fee for every single click. With Scale, the app developer pays a subscription, like a monthly Netflix or phone bill, to keep the lane open for you, to the user. The app feels completely free to use. Invisible text. So the goal is to make the blockchain apps feel just as fast and easy as normal apps that you use every day, like Instagram in a mobile game, so that you don't have to think about the crypto part happening in the background. So look at this. This is like traveling on the motorway, and there's toll lanes every single junction. But the developer has paid money so that you can go on a fast track lane, separate lane, to avoid all of the toll bridges. And this is what Scale does in the blockchain world. So there we have, that's what it's doing. Now that's solving a big problem because it can be very expensive to navigate your way around Ethereum. And if Scale can do this, then that is a very useful application and it's solving a big problem in crypto. So what we're going to look at now, we're going to look at Etherscan, the explorers. And let's see who holds it. We go to holders. And we see that there's one wallet here. It's a Binance hot wallet with 10% of the supply, which would be completely normal on an exchange. And I would imagine there's a few other exchanges down here. But what's important is that everything's under 4%, which means that nobody's sitting with a massive amount outside of Binance. So that's a good thing for distribution. Now, it's not brilliant, but it's certainly better than most cryptos that I see where there's a couple of wallets sitting on a massive part of the supply. So that's the first thing. Let's look at the website. Stop slowing the world or showing the world your balance. Start use programmable privacy. Now, for people outside of crypto, probably doesn't mean anything. Now, a lot of cryptos are guilty of this ridiculous wording that doesn't tell you really what they do. So Scale is the only blockchain with the privacy required for the agentic era. And again, what does this actually mean? Well, luckily, we've already described what it does. Designed for the Internet of Agents. So you can send tokens privately without exposing your wallet balance. So you've got confidentiality, encrypted transfers, zero gas fees, and compliant privacy. So people can build apps and bypass all of the need for KYC and stuff like this, that you've got confidentiality. So why scale for agents? Now, I find a lot of the stuff on websites, especially in crypto and Web3, incredibly geeky, that they're using all these terms without actually telling you what it actually is. But we've covered what it is. So let's look at here, a network at scale. So there's been 2 billion transactions. There's been 64 million unique wallets. There's been 13.4 billion in gas fees saved. And there's been 920 validator nodes. Now, I haven't double checked this information, but if that's anywhere close, it's telling you that there's a lot of people using Scale. Now, at what stage in the game they used it, that's a different kettle of fish. Next thing, we look at social media. We see over 200,000 followers, and we see a fairly active account. So this is just a few weeks ago. This was 17 hours ago. And we're seeing live events. When people put faces to projects, that always reassures me. And look, that's a fairly good interaction for a project that's fairly long in the tooth now, that there are people interacting with it. So Scale's social media account, and this is just a couple of days ago, is very active and impressive considering how far down the line it is. So that is a good thing. Next thing we go to is Cryptorank, and here we see the price is 0.005. Now, what does this mean? Let's go down and have a little look. We see the market cap has been verified. We see here that 87.1% of the tokens are circulating, which is good. And we also see here, now, this is the ICO ROI, as people that got in at the initial coin offering, and they're sitting on an 81% loss. And there's two ways to look at this, as people will know when they look at my reviews. The first one is that this is the bargain of the century. The second way is, well, this is dying coin, that it's on the death knell. And that's really the question we're asking ourselves. Is this about to die? Or is this now it's flushed out most of the vesting and it's about to pump? We don't know. That's the question. That is $1 million question, my friends, that we're asking ourselves when we're looking at a coin like this. So I actually went here because what we don't know is how much did they pay on this round, the funding round in 2019. So I've asked Grok, and this is a good resource. Go to Grok, and here's what I've put in. What likely price per token did investors pay for Scale in October 2019 funding round? Now, we've got around 0.0152 per token. Now let's take that price, 0.0152 per token, and we'll look at it, 0.152. So it's less than half price of what the earliest investors got in at, which means that the money, when the tokens are released, the rest of the tokens from the vesting schedule, that the investors, the early investors, are sitting on a loss. They're over 50% down on the position that they got in originally at, which means that this is a deeply, deeply discounted coin. And you've got no danger of people taking profits at this level. So there we have it. That's what they're saying there. And finally, my little bot stacking analysis. So it passed phase 1. So we go to phase 2, the deep dive. So tokenomics and risk assessment. And what I'm going to do is just take you to the summary. I'm not going to read you through all of this stuff. To say the verdict, there's a moderate risk. Scale's tokenomics are not broken, but the demand side has failed. So there's a lack of demand for Scale at the moment. Developer adoption has not materialized at scale, and the team's pivot to fair raises existential questions about Scale's future relevance. If fair launches with a new token, Scale could be a zombie token, despite the protocol's technical merits. So section B, the competitive positioning. Where does it rate? So it's got the other blockchains here. And again, I'm just going to go through to the summary. You can pause this and read through it. And the verdict, even though it's deeply discounted, is that it's overvalued relative to current adoption, not technical potential. And the rationale is that Scale's protocol has strong technical features like zero gas fees and programmable privacy, but the market has rejected the app-specific chains model. The 98 to 99% discount to competitors is justified because those competitors have actual usage, billions in total value locked, millions of transactions. Scale does not, despite what the website says. The fair pivot suggests the team agrees. Team credibility. So you can read through that if you wish to. But the verdict is proven. The team has proven that they can build and ship complex blockchain infrastructures. They've not proven they can achieve product market fit or scale adoption. The fair pivot is a rational response to the market feedback, but it creates uncertainty for SKL holders. So the innovation, technology, and security. We go down to here. Strong. Scale has strong technical foundations and security. The issue is not the technology, it's the business model and market adoption. And the master scoring matrix. So here we go down. Team quality 75, tokenomics 70, market position 30, on-chain health 50, technology 85, and market timing 40, which gives it a total score of 60.5, which is slightly below average. So this is a project that aims to do is doing some impressive things, but it's just not got the adoption. And that is what we're dealing with here. So, my friend, we're looking at a very reasonable team. We're looking at a reasonable project that does reasonable things, that saves people money, that bypasses the congestion on Ethereum through app usage. But the problem that we have is that not many people are using it. So can this team pivot and get adoption? Can they bring us a new token? Will this revolutionize the project? Will they change their marketing strategy? That we don't know. But we're looking at a deeply discounted coin, but a justified discount as well. So for me, this represents something that's not as exciting as other projects on the market, especially for the market fit. So on that basis, I would be out. But based on the fact that the community is active and there could be something around the corner to pivot this, to reposition it, to make it more attractive, it's certainly discounted and it may be worth a dabble, but that's not for me to say. Now, if you're watching this review and you know stuff that I haven't covered here, then please do add it to the comments because I'm always up for learning. I certainly didn't know anything about this project an hour ago, so I'm not going to even pretend to be an expert. All I'm here to do is to show you how to do base level research using AI filters and the information available from Coinmarketcap. And that, my friends, is my little review. Let me know your thoughts. Are you holding Scale? Do you think this is a worthy investment? And if you've enjoyed this review, then please do like and subscribe for the channel for more of the same, more content just there. But either way, stay lunatic, have fun, and make money with crypto.